Welcome, 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 and thank you for tuning in to the 3D Property Solutions podcast, bringing you the latest in real estate news, trends, and events. Here's your host, Dean. Dean, what are we talking about today?
Justyn, Nixon, ladies and gentlemen, 3D Property Solutions podcast. Here we are. We're going to talk about the current real estate market, and you got to understand that right now, this is Valentine's Day, right?
Absolutely.
Did you get your wife something for like flowers or something?
I did. We don't really, we always say we're not going to do that,
Yeah.
but we end up doing it anyway.
It's a trap.
Yeah, well, she trapped, I'm telling you, she's trapping me because she's like, nothing, and then I didn't buy her something before, and that didn't work out very well, so I learned my lesson.
I did that once, more or less, for Christmas.
You can't do that for Christmas.
Well, I did.
Is Valentine's Day a Hallmark holiday, or... You know,
whatever.
You know?
Like here's what it boils down to, and forgive the shaky camera because we're still working on our production quality and everything else. But what it boils down to is like you make your loved ones feel loved. If that's not too redundant, make them feel loved all the time, right? Hug them, kiss them, spend time with them in the morning, and not always making it about work and everything else. But
right.
Here we are, supposed to be talking about the real estate market.
Yeah. Valentine's Day is a great day to buy a house.
If you really loved your wife, you'd buy her a house or an investment property.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a true story.
We got to I have a closing today, Valentine's Day. So someone's getting a house for Valentine's Day. So it's fantastic.
That's good.
Valentine's Day
Where's the house at?
This one's actually in Jackson. Not really my territory, but when someone needs a house, I will sell them a house.
I lived a portion of my life in Grass Lake.
Okay. I don't know where that's at.
It's near Jackson.
Okay.
I think it's Washtenaw County, but close to the border of Jackson County.
So you seeing the same things in the market that I am? You know what I'm seeing in the market?
Nah, I mean let's talk about it. That's what
Yeah.
we're here to chat about today. So how long have you been an agent?
I've been licensed since February of 2020, but really got aggressive at the beginning of this year, actually.
All right, so
Or,
February.
I'm sorry, last year, 2022. So
Okay, 2020.
yep, I
Right,
did an
yeah.
aggressive first full year full time.
Uh-huh.
Did this part time, wasn't working out. Couldn't be the agent I needed to be for my clients, but yeah,
Oh, that's right, because you've got a contracting background.
I do. Yeah,
Right.
I have another business, remodeling business, residential, like commercial, for the last 17 years. Yep, 26 years in construction, 17 years of owning my own business.
You were really good at that, right?
I think so. I'm a little biased, but no, we built up. My background is custom home renovations, working for custom builders, and that I provided that value to people. It took some time building a business to get like any business you're growing, get the word out of what you do, what you're capable of, and finding the market that wants your service, right?
You get that?
So it took some years to get there, but we got there, and the business is, all referral based.
Okay.
All referral based.
How many houses did you sell last year?
16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty good. For your first year?
My
in
first
business?
year, I'm happy with that, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I've already sold, this year, 1 month, and I'll be, including today, 4 transactions already, so on the way for a better year. And I got 2 that are pending, which will be closed in the next couple weeks, so 6 in the first month and a half of this year. It's, just under a third of my entire year last year, so.
Okay.
Yeah, moving.
Right.
Yep.
Good price points. Like what price points are you dealing with?
Well, right now, let's see, a lot of first-time home buyers. So my big thing right now, last couple of months, first-time home buyers, they have their opportunity. Last couple of years, it's been difficult. All these cash deals and $30,000 appraisal guarantees, $40,000 that everyone's giving out there, which an appraisal guarantee is just saying if the house is not worth what you're paying, you're going to bring the extra cash to the table.
Yeah. And that inflates the market. Like that makes prices.
Yes. Yep.
It provides comparable properties that then become the new comps, and it's like a vicious cycle for those people that like we just experienced this in commerce, right? Where we were appraisal guarantee and everything else. But I mean, I'm curious to find out about your stories. Like, so you're seeing appraisal guarantees right now?
So I'm working with mostly buyers now. Last year, I was almost every house I sold. Out of the 16, I think 3 were buyers. The rest of them was list side. So I was selling a lot of houses. I was the one marketing and selling the property.
Okay.
So last year, it was like everyone probably already knows, but everyone was overpaying for properties, right?
True story.
Okay,
Yeah.
they were paying what they thought it was worth, what it was worth to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the true value, what you think a property is worth to you. But what the market was saying it was worth, they were overpaying. So, but now with the buyers that I'm working with, like we're in a week, I think we're about a week, we're closing, waiting for the clear to close on this South Lyon property, and we put a $30,000 appraisal guarantee in it.
Okay.
On this deal because open house was booming. It was only on the market for a couple of days. We knew there's going to be a lot of interest, and there was. It was a multiple offer situation, and we actually, with my strategy, won the offer, won the house with our offer. We weren't even the most expensive offer. We were $20,000 or $10,000 over ask price. Okay. Everybody was.
What was the price point there in South?
This was a condo. With a one-car garage, actually had a basement, which is not normal necessarily, especially for this complex. There's only a couple of them, and it was 205, listed at 205, and we went in at 215. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
so 10,000 over.
10,000 over.
Yeah, big down payment. So this is a client who had a lot of money. That older client had a lot of cash stashed, sold their previous home, and had all that cash in the bank ready to purchase another property, which is not common with the buyers I'm dealing with right now. Most of them are the first-time home buyers. Again, they're now getting an opportunity to not have to not compete against the cash and everything, like I was saying. Yeah. Sure. Okay. So that's the South Lyon price point, and then I've got one in Howell for $350.
Okay. You're on the buy side.
Buy side of that one, for $350, and I got $14,000 in concessions for my client on that.
Okay.
But then again, the South Lyon one, we're 10,000 over, right? But the other one was on the market for 90 days.
Okay.
So that gives us the opportunity to get in there and negotiate. And
right. So let's slow it down here for a second. So here's the ultimate message that we want to be able to convey to the market and the audience right now. This is very area specific.
Yes.
All right. Yep. So say for instance, our real world experience, we had a house in Redford that was sold just after the first of the year. We found a buyer. That buyer lost their financing, and then about 3 weeks ago, house went back on the market and immediately came right back off. 2 days on the market, everybody's like, okay, and it was clean, it's good, it's a nice clean house. But the bottom line is it just some houses take a longer time to sell in certain markets, certain price points. I mean, we see this over and over again. Real world scenario that I've got over in Commerce Township. Okay, so for the Metro Detroit real estate market, we know Commerce Township, Walled Lake Schools. That was a freshly done rehab. Okay, actually, as a shameless plug for having a relationship in the community and being a well-seasoned agent, I knew the guy that flipped the house. I also did business with the agent before that was listing the house to sell it. And, if you're not a scumbag in the business, you see that, your reputation builds on itself.
Yep.
And people will be willing to work with you, and
sometimes that's what gets the deal done.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll shy away.
Closer.
Yeah. On the list side of things, I would look at the deal offered, what the buyer was bringing. And if they were very close, I started looking at the lender, and after the lender, I look at the agent, because a bad agent can kill deals. You can literally have everything, offers perfect on a property. You got an agent who's got a bad reputation, and the other agent knows that, had a bad experience, or knows of them. Mm-hmm. They might recommend to their seller, listen, we can accept this offer, but he has a reputation of not making it to the closing table.
Well, even the lenders.
Lenders huge.
We're going to leave names
out of it. I could throw a couple out there, but I won't.
But bottom line is there's two that come up that just, oh man, hey, we've got multiple offers here, but this particular lender or two.
I know one of the two, I'm sure.
That, it's like, hey, it's a crapshoot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to close. I don't know if they're even doing pre-approvals.
And then what happens if
qualifications, whatever they're supposed to be doing.
Well, tell our viewers what happens when the lender kills the deal. What happens for the seller and the value of the property, relisting it?
Your burning time is really what it boils down to. It's extra monthly mortgage payments for your seller if you've got them, and the perception of a house coming back onto the market that just. It's like, wow, what's wrong with the house? It's back on the market again.
Right.
There must be something wrong with it.
Because the real estate, people purchase things and sell things based on emotion, right? Doesn't really matter the value. Some of there's an appeal to a property, makes someone feel a certain way. They're probably going to offer more than the person that's just using it because they literally just need it for a place to live while they're working in the area or whatever.
Sure,
Someone's
sure.
going to raise their family in it. They can see that their family growing in it. That person is going to probably offer more on that property. There's more value. There's,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a property coming up in Farmington Hills. It's going to be a freshly refinished property, and that's one of those long time homes that somebody's going to move in. It's not like, hey, we're going to live here for 5 years. This is more of a gathering home. It's going to be in the family for many, many years. I mean, that's the hope, right? That's what we're building it for, or rehabbing it for. But to reel it back in, here's the idea that I want to be able to walk away with, right? You're an experienced agent. You're going through multiple offer situations.
Yep, a couple of them,
in South Lyon. But also you have a scenario where you're, able to receive concessions, which is money contributed by the seller towards closing costs for the buyer.
Absolutely.
That's in Howell. What other... Do you have any other deals going on right now?
Centerline, yeah, Centerline.
Tell me about Centerline. That's a completely different market.
Yeah, it is. I mean, so the two that I have that are, by the way, are the ones that came up. They were not on the market very long, and they were multiple offer situations where we actually went over ask price. Okay, so one was in Clinton Township.
Sure. And
this one, price point was $215, and we went at $235. Okay, so we had an appraisal guarantee on this one. It was $10,000. So my buyer came in. Again, it was a great program, physician's loan, so that gave them more buying power because they could come in zero down without the mortgage insurance you have to have if you don't have 20% down invested in the deal. And they got a great rate because of the program, so one of the best programs out there. But we came in, and the thing is, the agent actually listed the property too low.
Okay.
We came in, appraised at $230, but they listed it for $215. So there's multiple offers for a good reason. It was a good house, but it was way under market. So everybody came in, and that was a multiple offer above asking price situation, but the agent listed the property too low.
Do you think the agent priced the property low on purpose?
It was an experience. I actually talked to the agent, and I asked her, I said, and the agent, no names, but said that she had a hard time comping it. And again, I don't know how long she's been an agent. And I have a thing I like to say from the past business I had is, and one thing about newer agents, okay, we already disclosed I've been an agent for a couple of years, but really only full-time for a year, right? Well, I've already seen in this business, it might be a year, but it's the mentality, it's the drive, it's being accountable, it's how you take care of your clients. I've known people that have done things for 20 years that still are not good as some people that have been in it for a year.
So why do you think that is? Is it a short gene pool, or is it like?
It's a work ethic. It's caring about what you do, diligence, systems. Again, a lot of people that aren't good put a proper system together. You can take care of your client well, right? Training. I'm not going to name any brokerages, but it wasn't our brokerage. It wasn't Keller Williams. So the training that they got, maybe she doesn't know how to comp properly. Maybe she's been getting by, maybe not listing houses. Maybe she's only worked with more buyers. There's many reasons why. But she admitted that she didn't price the property. I went on, it took me like 5 minutes, and I called her and asked her why she priced it at that point, because I knew that it was worth more, right? But that's one reason why there's a multiple offer. It wasn't on the market very long. I actually told her, I said, I actually asked her, the way I put it was this by accident or was it strategy? Because if it was strategy, that's fantastic. If not, you got really lucky, and that's great too. The only thing is to keep in mind is when an agent does that, if they price it low and you get a lot of action, the seller might be thinking, this is fantastic, multiple offers. But it's a misconception, because to be honest with you, if I had that listing and I priced it accordingly, I would have gotten her I probably would have netted her him, the seller, probably another $10,000, I think, by pricing it properly, because it was a good house. It was, especially in this limited market, it did stand out. It was only on the market for 5 days. So it did stand out as the best. Anybody else who had a search like my buyer at the time, we were competing all looking at the same properties. This one stood out. This one was going to sell above the rest no matter what. Just what was the price, but because it was priced too low, they didn't get they didn't maximize the net. The seller actually lost on that one because of the inexperience of the agent. So
what Justyn is saying here is that it's important to pick your agent with a certain level of due diligence.
Or
using due diligence. Like, how do you say that? right? But the point is, you want to make sure that you're picking an agent.
Yes.
You want to do your due diligence on an agent, and don't just pick a fancy name or somebody because they're in your family or something else like that. Because find somebody that's actually got the smoke of battle on them, in a sense, where hey, 85% of the deals that we did last year were representing sellers. We sold 85% of our deals last year were representing sellers. So think about that. Now, when you have an agent that's got that type of an experience, don't just think like, oh, geez, I shouldn't pick them because, I want to go buy a house. I would suggest and even argue that you want to take a serious look at hiring somebody that does listing, if they'll take on your business, if they'll work with buyers, because they're getting bombarded with all the offers.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. You learn, being on both sides.
See all the tricks and the tips and like everything that people are trying, the appraisal guarantees, the over ask, and just knowing the market and what it's capable of. Like a good skilled buyer's agent, you make a lot of money in this business, especially right now where there's a level of uncertainty. Because here's a big opportunity with buyer's agents from my point of view. If you're skilled enough to be able to determine and discern what certain neighborhoods are going through and the average days on market, like what I mean by that is how long does a house typically live on the market, right? So in Commerce, a weekend still, as long as it's appropriately priced. But you go to Garden City, which I'm long on Garden City. I've always been a big fan of that town. Reasonably high taxes if you're looking for landlord properties, but from like a homeowner standpoint, they hold their values. There's a lot of brick ranches. There's a lot of stuff going on over there. But the idea is that these houses have a certain lifespan. And the general public, or I should say the general population that is out there selling houses, they get conditioned. They get conditioned with the fact that houses sell on a weekend. Watch the media. The media is going to control this narrative. So market's crashing. Market's going hell in a handbasket, whatever that means. Hell in a handbasket. Like, where do the people get these terms from? But you understand that, like, people hear high interest rates. And what really gets me is the fact that, it's still affordable, right?
Right, but what they call
the job done, right?
Well, right, but I mean, what they call that, right? It's actually a psychological term.
Sure.
Is recency, right? So everyone compares what's going on now to the most recent thing they remember. Mm-hmm. So, but again, in our business, we're always looking at graphs and data. We're going 20 years back. We're going 30 years back. We're going back to 1980 when interest rates were 16.5, right? 1980, 81, whatever. Uh-huh. But the thing is, what's the average? The 20-year average is 5%, right? Where on average, we were just at 5.99. I mean,
well, it's the TikTok, like, what'd you call it?
Recency.
So you get the TikToks, you get the YouTube shorts, or the short little videos that you see on your phone when you're sitting there, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, I lost an hour of my life. The point
never
is
been there. Never.
Me neither, right? But you understand, like, you have an agent that knows and understands the neighborhood and can go in and discern what an appropriate amount of time is. And if people are getting programmed by the media saying, oh, the market's crashing, like, it's really, really bad. Like West Coast, we got a part of a mastermind that like 30, 40% market shifts, like price drops in order to get properties sold. That's very real over there. What we don't have right now, and what 3D Property Solutions provides, is current market statistics for the Metro Detroit market. We track the foreclosures. We track the days on market for particular areas. And we're skilled enough to be able to go into a neighborhood, because we're doing it for investment purposes, right?
Yeah.
But also, if you're looking to purchase a house, if we've got time in the calendar, I mean, you'll come to us. We'll make something work for you, and we'll be able to represent you on that front. Either that or Justyn would be able to go through and just tell you what's going on in the neighborhood. Here's an appropriate price. Let's go get the deal.
Right? But I think the biggest point that you hit there is, and this is what we as real estate agents, I mean, boots on the ground, right? That we're always battling is the media, right? Again, that's like, it's like Zillow, like they get their information after we put it on our MLS, right? but it's secondhand. It's what's that game everyone used to play? Telephone or whatever.
Oh, yeah, telephone.
I mean, the information's not always accurate, and it's delayed, right? So what are you really hearing? You're hearing stuff that happened 2 months ago. But we're, like you said, you got the data because this is what we're doing every day. We're not reporting about what someone else is doing every day. We're doing it every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that, and then again, that's a great point. That's the battle, is the media. It's not always accurate, and it's delayed. So by the time you get it, that's already happened. Right?
Sure. So a main takeaway from this conversation is this. Yes, the market's hot. If you're thinking about selling, right now is a pretty good time. I mean, for crying out loud, it looks like spring is maybe we got one more cold front to go through, or something like that. But for
multiple offers and over ask, I'm putting in the deals and they're selling. Yeah, for the sellers out there that don't think that they're going to have to. You got a property. I mean, obviously there's things you need to do. You got to make sure you know it's not like it was in the market. You could sell a house no matter how bad it was. You just go in there and you take everything out and sweep the floors and you can sell it for over ask, right? I mean,
I like hotel properties.
Yeah, right. So call Dean for those. So, but again, I mean, it's not hard. Just make it look like you care about your house. Clean it, make a couple of repairs, make sure the front door is painted so they got a great first impression when they walk up. But I mean, and again, it is a seller's market. There's no doubt. Buyers, if you're out there, we can put strategies together. It's not always even the highest price. We strategize with what the sellers want and give it to them. It's not that hard because all you have to do is ask them, like, what's most important to you? It's a simple question. A lot of agents actually don't ask that question. Simple question. But for sellers, it's absolutely. I mean, my buyers are paying over ask price on houses still because there's not many out there.
Yeah, inventory is an issue. Yeah. So if you got a house to sell, this is the very beginning of the spring market, because if you have the meeting with the agent right now, you're going to go ahead and have a little bit of time to prep the house, and then all of a sudden it's on the market, it's springtime, more buyers are coming out of the woodwork, and like, hey, we need to buy a house, because it's just, they're programmed. They're like mentally, like, hey, let's go get a house, let's go buy a house. Yeah. Life events, or, whatever. It's like, it's convertible weather. Let's go buy a new sports car. Or whatever. Buy side too.
If you want to buy a property, you need to meet with a lender, get pre-approved. If you're not, it doesn't mean you can't be in a month or two, because we strategize. It's not just, that's the thing, is working with an agent is going to bring you with a lender, one of our preferred lenders, ones that we work with, right? So we do a lot of business together. It's not like you're going to go to a bank and then you're going to go see what they offer. Then you're going to go to another bank, right? Because we work with brokers, right?
Right.
One application, we can shop for you and they'll shop for you and find you the best deal. And then sometimes it's like, hey, we can get you a better interest rate. We just need to get your credit up 10%, 10 points, right? You go in there, the credit reports, literally, you can click a button. It tells you what to do, what to pay off to get your credit up 10 points, 20 points. One client, it was 80 points just by paying a couple things off. So the same thing, it's prep. If you want that goal, like any good thing, right, it's all about the prep. You want a nice paint job? It's not about putting paint on the wall. It's about the prep, right? Make sense?
This guy's a professional painter, I guess. So it's good. So in short, we do these interviews with agents to bring perspective. All right. Here's what's currently happening in the market. It's February 14th, 2023, and this is the market update with Justyn Nixon
and Dean Kozowski.
It's the podcast, 3D Property Solutions.